now. Okay, we are live on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. The time is now 6:30 p.m. I'm Chairman Mike Curry, and I'd like to call this Board of Selectmen business meeting to order on this 8th day of April 2020. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Don't forget to unmute, Diane.
I pledge
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance to the
flag
flag
of the
of the
United
United
States
States of America,
and to the republic for which it
to the
stands,
republic for which it
nation,
stands,
under
one
God,
man,
nation under
indivisible,
God,
liberty,
indivisible, with liberty
for all.
liberty, and
justice
justice for all.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Just by way of a quick roll call, I'll go through the roll call for this evening. We've got Diane Haley. We have Terry Griffiths.
here.
Adam LaMontagne. We have our support staff from TCTV, and we have Holly Young. We do have a quorum for this evening's meeting. Before we begin, I'd like to state for the record that not only are we being streamed live on YouTube web platform, but the entire proceeding this evening, except any executive sessions, are being recorded for both TCTV Cable Station 8 and later viewing on the TCTV YouTube channel. I ask anyone else that may be recording, just let us know. Thank you. As always, our agenda is for this evening has been set no later than 48 hours out by law. And a quick message on that, the agenda packet did change within the last hour. We had an error in the minutes and it has been corrected. And is publicly available at the official source for town information, templetonma.gov. I would like to point out that since the governor has placed Massachusetts in a state of emergency, open meeting law has been suspended as we know it and has allowed for the flexibility of public meetings. Understanding this, we still make every effort to post meetings, hold them publicly, maximize board participation, and have mechanisms for interaction, and always have recordings or transcripts available for the public's inspection. I would like to remind all citizens of our 4 villages to sign up or register for emergency updates using the Code Red system. It is on the center and left side of the screen near the bottom. You may also text from your smartphone the keyword Templeton MA to 99411. Although I have the discretion as chairperson to add and remove from the agenda, it has been set to allow for time, resources, and public awareness. This evening is also important as we're refining our enhanced communications abilities. Tonight is at least the 5th such meeting that we have held streamed live on YouTube. And anyone that had business before the board has been given access to the application or the dial-in number. Couple Zoom rules of the road. Please use your video when possible. What the viewers don't see on the live stream or in the recording is anyone on the phone will not, they will be heard, but they will not be seen as a part of the meeting. Please use the mute feature when you're not speaking. Although TCTV and the chair can place any and all on mute, it is easier for you to control your own button. If you wish to see materials shared in the screen, please request that of the chair. You can email or refer me to which document you would like. This will help everyone stay synchronized and be helpful to the viewing public. Only the chair and the TCTV are able to share contents or screens based on the license that we have for the Zoom platform. If you wish to speak, you may raise your hand, use the raise hand feature in Zoom, or politely break in if you are only on the telephone. Viewers of the live stream may ask questions that may be acknowledged by the chair or any other member that may be monitoring the YouTube live stream chat area. I will say that we are refining our process with this. If you do have a question on the live stream, then please state what your name is and your question. As everybody else that may be watching, we have to discern what the questions are from the comments. Some comments are just angry about what we're talking about. We're all trying to get comfortable with this new platform. I think it's much better for our viewing public that we see these things, but please just try and if you have a question, professionally state it. Thank you. Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw up our agenda right now. Jeff, glad to see you. Okay, here's our agenda for this evening, April 8th. Public comment. Let's see. My YouTube didn't come up, so I'm not sure if there's anybody that has any kind of public comment. Anyone aware of any?
Not as of yet.
Okay. All right, I've got that up.
I can't
Okay.
see any.
We'll move. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Terry.
I can't see any. I was wondering if there was a way for me to see it, but I'm on my computer, not on YouTube.
So just as like tips and tricks, I'm on the computer for the meeting, and then I have my cell phone just kind of cradled right next to it with the live stream with the volume turned down. That way I can wind up seeing if there are any comments, if anyone didn't understand something, if they needed clarification or otherwise. I think we're going to get better at this in the future. Anyone watching the live stream or even afterwards, if you're watching the YouTube recording or on TCTV, if you know when we're meeting, you can obviously request to be a part of the meeting and that you have public comment. And then you'd be granted access or given a specific password. So we're getting better as we move through this. But again, I mentioned it in the opening, we're under an amended open meeting law, so we're doing what we can to achieve business. I think if we got to the point where we had public comment on this platform, we would be getting pretty darn close back to the original intent of open meeting law. But right now, I agree with you, Terry. I don't see any extra comments.
Mike, I'm looking up, it says live on YouTube, and then there's a little triangle. It says view stream on YouTube. If I hit that, will I get out of this meeting or will I get it like what you have?
I would not do that because then you're going to hear everything that goes on in the meeting. And then you're going to, well, you'd have to, yes, you can, but you'd have to mute your YouTube or turn the volume off on your YouTube. And if you don't know how to do that, I wouldn't try and do it now. But that you could do it the way that you just described. I'm a very positive person tonight.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, first item on the menu tonight is meeting minutes. We've got several to take care of. You should have all received the minutes within your agenda packet. A quick note that the minutes from the 23rd and 25th originally appeared as a duplication. Our illustrious executive assistant has gone in and fixed both sets of meetings, so they should reflect those minutes.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Diane.
I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes of March 23rd, 2020 as written.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the minutes for the 23rd? Hearing no further discussion on the motion to accept the minutes for March 23rd, how do you vote? Diane?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Thank you. Okay, our next set of meetings is Wednesday, March 25th. Again, this was an amended from the original agenda packet. And this was our first set of meeting minutes where everybody was remote. I'll entertain a motion to enter the minutes for March 23rd, March 25th.
They're the same.
Jeff, I think that was you. You said that they were the same. The ones that I have up on the screen are not the same. So looking back at the 23rd, I see the update on COVID, the Monty Tech budget, budget items. And then I skip to the 25th and I see that it has the Veterans Grave Officer Orchard Lane discussion.
21 for Eden Reed and 18 for MPC Development.
So Eden will be 23 now, so up to 23, and MP will stay at 18.
Okay. So 23 for Eden and 18 for MPC Development.
Yes, that's correct.
And the last one, Amanda.
I'm staying the same.
So 20 for Eden Reed, MPC Development 23.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, I took care of that. I think Adam forgot to turn his microphone off. So that was a little bit confusing. Do I have a motion to add the minutes for the 25th?
I make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from Saturday, from the 23rd, March 23rd as,
25th.
sorry, make a motion to accept the minutes from March 25th as is.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? Any concerns on any concerns on the minutes that are on the website? Everyone should have a copy of the correct ones. Okay, hearing no further objection on the motion to add the minutes from March 25th business meeting to the record. How do you vote, Diane?
Abstain.
Terry?
Yes,
Jeff? Jeff, are you good? Yes or no? Or abstain?
Yes,
Okay, great. And I vote yes as well. So Holly, just to recap, that was a yes from Mike, Jeff, and Terry, and Diane was an abstain.
Thanks.
Okay, scrolling to the next set of minutes. And that is going to be the minutes from our budget workshop, all day, remote, Saturday, March 28th. Do I have a
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Diane.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of March 28th, 2020 as written.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments, or concerns on the minutes for the budget workshop on March 28th?
I just have one under buildings and grounds. I asked a question of how many flags we had in town and how they were raised and lowered. And it wasn't on the veterans' graves. It was just about how many flags we have in town, who raises and lowers them every day, and how that gets done.
Okay, is it not specific enough or too vague? And do you want it changed?
Could you please change it to the flags around town, not veterans' graves? Because that was a separate thing with Sheila. The veterans'
Okay.
grave issue was with Sheila, but the highway under buildings and grounds, it was my question on the budget, because it's a paid position and it's overtime, just who does it, how many flags we have, and how does it get done, morning and night, and then Bob went into nice detail about, when they get lowered at half staff, and he gave a beautiful overview of the whole thing.
Okay,
I will amend my motion to add that change.
okay,
Yeah, I'll make note of that.
perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, we have an amended motion to include the minutes from March 28th with an amendment in the building and grounds area of the budget workshop. And the executive assistant, Holly, has noted where the amendment will be made.
Second,
Thank you for the second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing nothing further on the motion for admitting the amended March 28th minutes. How do you vote, Diane?
Yes,
Terry?
yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Thank you, everyone. Okay, next on our agenda for this evening is any introductions of new employees. Adam, I'm assuming that the answer to that is no.
That is correct.
Okay. And next item is committee appointments and vacancies. I can see on by the agenda that there are none.
That is correct.
Okay. And the next item that we have tonight is action concerning Scout Hall. And this is brought back after we discussed at length in one of our previous workshops or last week's workshop on the way to move forward with Scout Hall. I definitely will have a note in once we do a motion. I'll add in some notes in our discussion. Let's see.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, did you amend the minutes or were we supposed to approve the minutes from April 1st?
Did I forget those?
I believe we just ended on the 28th and didn't.
You're right. You're 100% correct. Okay, my apologies. Okay, let's circle back to the last set of minutes. I guess I should have realized there were 4 sets. Sorry. Diane, do you have a motion for me?
Mr. Chairman, I did not receive minutes in my packet for April 1st. And I did not read them, so I cannot make a motion.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from Wednesday, April 1st as written.
okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second? These would be on page 12 of your agenda packet.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to admit the budget workshop minutes from Wednesday, April 1st. Any further discussion? I've got those up on the screen. Okay, hearing nothing further on the motion to admit the workshop minutes from April 1st to the record. How do you vote, Diane?
Abstain?
Terry?
Yes,
Jeff?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Thanks, Terry. I appreciate the watching my back. Okay, we're gonna move back to the agenda where we left off with Scout Hall. Let's see, and this is referred from workshop. I move to request the preparation of a report on a proposed program of uses for Scout Hall including but not limited to the uses considered and rejected, and the reasons therefore, to be prepared by the Office of Community Services after consultation with the various units contained therein and the community at large, with said report to be submitted on or before June 30th, 2020.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Discussion. The first thing, I saw some comments during our live stream. Mr. May had brought up some issues of, yes, I heard you, Mr. Chair, say that we want to move forward, but he was concerned about the accountability that got us to this point. The motion that's on the table that we're discussing, it is the way to move forward, and I'd like to proceed with that. However, at the same time, outside of this action in this motion, I know that Mr. Terenzini had provided some of that background before, but perhaps we can address as a further agenda item for discussion. I know that Julie would probably be want to be present for that because she's the only selectman remaining from that committee. But if we wind up having a discussion, I'd like to be able to present some of the findings, whether it's an informal inquiry or otherwise. I'd like to be able to answer Mr. May's concerns that he had sent in an email to, I believe, the entire select board and the assistant town administrator and the town administrator. So that's the only thing I have to say in discussion for this proposed motion. I'll go on mute.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if I may, not on tonight's motion, but moving forward and perhaps to address some concerns of Bob May, maybe in addition to the financial management policy, maybe a separate policy altogether. But when the Board of Selectmen creates or appoints a committee, or we start some financial project, anything that involves spending town money, we request that when a committee is formed, they have a stated purpose, who is on it, a feasibility study, and when things are going to go to CPC or other places requesting funds, a very specific laid out set of things to include a committee vote, the minutes, etc. Details, things that, to be worked out down the road, not put off for a year or so. But, and again, it doesn't address this topic tonight, but it may help address, or at least ensure that we don't see this come up again in the future.
I agree with you, Jeff, and I think that that's something that we should put on, kind of like a hybrid approach to say what policy-wise can we affect some change, but then answer some of the questions. I'd like to put to bed any of the accountability questions that the community may have about that. It wasn't on. I don't know what can be served by doing that, but I certainly don't want a bunch of upset people out there think that we're running amok at town hall, doing whatever we want with facilities. So I agree with you, Jeff. I'm thinking that the 22nd agenda may be pretty full. Do you think the 22nd is good?
Well,
I don't think it is. Do you think that maybe sometime in either June or May, or until after? I don't know. I just think the 22nd may be too soon.
It's probably a thing for a workshop, and we need to gather, the who, what, where, when, how we're going to do it, and where we want to stick it in the financial policy, or just a separate, like, I don't know, capital something. Obviously, it's going to take a little bit of time to come up with the steps and what to be included in it. But again, it doesn't address his concerns, and it doesn't really have anything to do with Scout Hall going forward, but it certainly would help prevent the woulda, coulda, shoulda things that happened with Scout Hall, in my opinion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Diane.
I agree with Jeff that it should be at a workshop and we should go through that and when the board creates a committee and where that belongs and how we do have a policy of when we create a committee and that there's a charge and that we should make sure that this doesn't happen again.
I agree, and I'm going to get to the two hands raised in 1 second. By happy accident, we have a workshop coming up on May 6th. That may be a great time to achieve that. Just looking at my schedule for the year. Since I've been on this board, we've talked about committee creation. I think we're moving in the right direction. I agree with both of you that we just need to take it home. Holly, your hand was up about the motion text.
No, it was actually about the minutes, but Terry covered that.
Mr. Chairman,
I'm sorry, I was on mute. Adam, please, you have a raised hand.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we spoke about Scout Hall not too long ago, and I think we pretty much covered everything there. I did have a discussion with the two department heads, Bob Sozak, Building and Grounds DPW Director, and Jackie Prime, our Community Services Director. And I think May 6th works. I believe there's discussion amongst the board of a tour of the building, and that way we could get everybody on the same page when it comes down to having Bob will have an overview with Jackie, the select board, and we could have that discussion May 6th. And that will give us enough time to address more of the logistical aspect pertaining to that building.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Diane.
I realize that we want to move forward, but there does need to be accountability. And I think that Mr. May raises some legitimate concerns and they need to be answered.
I agree. Let's bring it up in the next workshop. I see it as May 6th. It doesn't need to be within the motion for the action for the Office of Community Services, but we'll certainly add it to the agenda.
Would somebody get a hold of Mr. May and let him know, unless he's watching right now? And
I can pretty much guess that he's going to be watching.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Adam, you have a raised hand? Sean, I cannot unmute him. He's speaking, but he's on mute.
I can't do anything about it either.
Could you hear me now?
Yep, can hear you now.
Okay, good. I think I'm having some technical difficulties on my end. I'm not quite sure if it's my computer with the phone. I'm not.
Yeah.
But
Sean and I are trying to help out, but we can hear you. Go ahead.
yeah, I was already muted earlier, and I apologize for that. I'm having some difficulty on my end. So I think Diane brought up a good point. I mean, she was served on the Baldwin Elementary School Disposition Committee and I was on that committee with Diane, and we completed our charge there. I think this committee probably didn't have a charge laid out similar to the Baldwin, like other committees. And quite frankly, I think that's something that we could work on a workshop and definitely address there. And I don't want to just keep going over and over on this, but I think the board has a good idea of moving this to May 6th. Thank you.
Great. That's good. And on YouTube, Mr. May is watching right now. So message was received. Okay, we've got any other further discussion? I can reread the motion, but I'll wind up rereading it anyway. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. On the motion to request the preparation of a report on a proposed program of uses for Scout Hall, including but not limited to the uses considered and rejected and the reasons therefore, to be prepared by the Office of Community Services after consultation with the various units contained therein and the community at large, with said report to be submitted on or before June 30th, 2020. That has been seconded. How do you vote, Diane?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Thank you. Okay, next item tonight is a COVID-19 update. And what I'd like to do for that, I have, as I had told you earlier, in preparation for the meeting, I do have some prepared remarks for that. I hope they don't take too long. And then anyone else that may have an update, a question, or a concern, I'd like to cover that within a COVID-19 kind of an update for the community. Just a note before I begin, I've noticed that a variety of different communities out there, they're either getting it right or they're not offering a lot of information. There are some communities out there that are giving podium video updates. I know that Adam and I had discussed kind of doing that here in Templeton. Because we've becoming pros at the Zoom platform, I thought that our public meeting that most people would attend or want to watch anyway, if we had that as an agenda item, that can kind of suffice as a update for the community. So I'll go ahead and begin. Although COVID-19 or the coronavirus has less transmission numbers than the typical flu virus, this pandemic novel virus is deadlier and has yet to be determined transmission qualities that force the overabundance of caution we have seen in our public leadership decision-making processes. As our previous messaging has stated, if you feel sick, call your healthcare provider or 911 in emergencies. If you suspect contact with somebody confirmed to have COVID-19, self-quarantine using the established procedures. Wash your hands, wear a mask, medical or cloth based on what you do and what your status is. And most importantly, stay home if you can. The country, state, and we in the town of Templeton have declared states of emergency. We did so more than 3 weeks ago on 16 March. Furthermore, Governor Baker has made several restrictions on travel, congregation, and business patronage. Some are updated daily, and many have been extended to early May. For a complete list of these continually expanding proclamations and public restrictions, please visit the state's COVID website, our website, our daily status reports, or dial 211 for the latest information. You may also text COVID-MA to the number 888-777 to get updates on your phone and or email. I did it today and they actually come through quite nicely. I would also ask you to take the time to sign up for Templeton's alert system known as Code Red. I won't go through the procedures to do that. I already did that this evening. If you do call the number, make sure you ask for the Templeton Police account. Since March 16th, we have sent 3 emergency alerts with important information to the roughly 1,200 people who have already signed up. We have partnered with the school district to share these alerts where feasible. As noted previously, the town is operating under a hybrid mix of normal operations and emergency operations. This means several aspects of the incident command system are being used, but not exclusively. Normal town operations and ICS are being used where efficient, where our current staffing and volunteers exist. Measures to delay tax responsibilities in conjunction with state and federal announced protections are being drafted. The Senior Center has received many phone calls with questions on the application for the stimulus package. The town will research any resources that can help answer this. Our response so far: we have provided public statements, electronically transmitted information resources, steps necessary to protect our first responders, and participation in state and local prevention coordination efforts. Your local government remains committed to providing a safe and informed town. I have performed some research on the response in other companion communities, and I can report to you that I believe our resources are equal, if not better, presented to assist you during this prolonged crisis. It is important to remember not all infectious disease information is available to the public. This is set by several Massachusetts laws and regulations. And while it is true that the Mass Department of Health has shifted its stance on the release of local information, your Board of Health has yet to decide if the aggregation of town numbers of infectious disease populations is releasable. We pride ourselves in Templeton on being as transparent as possible, but it is a thin line to report on infection rates on individuals. It is not a right to obtain or report on information that is sensitive to your neighbor. You must have faith in your medical community to protect your public health. Please do your part and follow distancing, hand washing, and quarantining procedures. A quick note on our priorities. Personal protective equipment for all essential personnel carrying out work in the support of the town and associated efforts. Our food pantry operations to support our families in need. This effort is split into issuing supplies and receiving donations. And our third priority is critical personnel. We must have the right team for the right tasks at the right time. I am continually convinced that we have the right team serving you. Since shortly after the declared emergency, we have endeavored to provide daily updates to the community in order to have a centralized method for informing our public. These daily status reports are issued normally at noon of each weekday. They are always one page, available as a photo or Adobe PDF document, and they are posted on all official town internet portals. Please share these early and often. There are many active social media pages and groups. No one should be left out of the information loop. Speaking of social media, many of your elected leaders are on social media. Some are more prolific than others. I would encourage social media communication between everyone during this time of social distancing. But remember, in order to reach all of our constituents and earnest, the official source of information is always through our website and official social media presence. I have personally seen complaints, praises, and questions on a variety of Facebook pages, groups, and blogs. This generates a lot of good discussion, but also can add to the distractions of speculation, anger, and even worse, fear. We again pride ourselves on the ability to both predict and react to residents' concerns and needs, but we will continue to do so through official sources of communication. It is only online discussion until you make it formal. Almost done. And speaking of communication, I want to again thank TCTV's Steve, Sean, and Hannah for all the work that they do, making sure that we maintain contact with each other. They not only provide the normal services, but they have adapted the way we connect and interact, privately and publicly. They also synchronize their TCTV and social media offerings that seek to provide resources, entertain us, and educate our residents. Thank you, TCTV. As I was speaking with our staff today, we are all in this together. What we do now matters. How we do it matters. Staying connected can be hard for some. That's why we are developing better partnerships to reach out to community members that are having difficulty or anxiety about what's going on. Starting soon, we will have Narragansett Regional School District students and our own community emergency response team, or CERT, join forces with the senior center staff to make check-in phone calls with other members of our community. Almost done. We know from our state leaders that now is not the time to rest. We must be vigilant and continue to do our part to protect ourselves and help one another. The next 2 weeks could be hard on the Commonwealth. We must remain, as one of my select board colleagues has spoken about, We must remain Templeton tough. May in our election and our town meeting cycle is just around the corner. Please know we are working hard to keep up the response to this crisis and also preserve the continuity of your town government. Thank you. I yield the floor to anyone else that may have any questions or statements on COVID-19.
Yes,
Thank
go ahead, Diane, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say thank you. That was very well said. And I think that there's some fear and some anxiety and, you know, people like yourself who live alone, you know, don't, you know, we're not used to this. You know, the elderly population who are shut in, you know, are also not used to not being able to get out. Parents aren't used to being home all day with their kids, you know, they're homeschooling. This is new to them. You know, I mean, I think that the school is reaching out to them. They're doing a job. You know, I think the daily status updates, I see people sharing them everywhere. You know, I mean, we can do everything that we can. And I think that, you know, the team is doing an excellent job. And I just wanted to say thank you, and that for our community to be well and to be safe.
Great, thanks, Diane. Jeff, please.
Yes, I wanted to give an update that Jackie was on a Facebook group today concerning the food pantry. And apparently they are, it was noted that they are looking for bread, butter, frozen foods, paper products, not specific. It could be TP, toilet, paper towels, napkins, any of that. Cereal. Somebody said, mentioned diapers. And they are open on Tuesdays from 9 to 12. They are open on Thursdays from 9 to 12 and 5 to 7. And Jackie put out a phone number if you have any questions. Some people wanted to know if you could mail a check, who to make it out to. Her number she gave out was 978-939-2780. She said, leave a message and she will return your call. And there are a couple of meetings by phone coming up. One is Friday, April 10th. It's through the Greater Gardner Chamber of Commerce. It's going to feature Senator Ann Goby and Zlotnick. And you can register to participate. If anybody's interested in that phone number where you can listen in, I would forward you the email. And that is in the morning from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. There is another meeting, teleconference for the Massachusetts Municipal Association, also on Friday. It's at 12 p.m. And this is for select board members, city and town councilors. You can go to the MMA webpage and you can get this this briefing notice. And if you respond, you can send an email. You'll get a response from Denise Baker. She'll give you your code number so that you can call in and listen in on that. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Just to reinforce what Jeff was saying, that was going to be what I was going to talk about. But according to your Mike's wife, Stacy, that they've been overwhelmed. So the food pantries resources are depleted, so they can use more than just the bread and things. That was what I read. I believe it was this morning on Facebook, and they are going to be open tomorrow. But they have been depleted because of unemployment, and the checks haven't come in, and people are in need in this community.
Thanks, Terry. Yeah, I had heard the same thing. Right now, they seem to be in between some of the resources that they were expecting to get. I had a conversation, my time before the board. We had there was an organization that was a little bit more thriving in town. It was called the Friends of Templeton Veterans. It was kind of a companion to what was going on in this with the Veterans Advisory Board. But there was money left in that, and we thought this was a good time to be able to donate that. So right now, cash resources, as well as the stuff that Jeff was talking about and Terry was talking about, Jackie Prime and the food pantry does have access to some money in order to get some of those things that people aren't bringing in. Our hope is that that money would bridge the gap to the next funding source, which I think is going to be a series of market basket gift cards, other grocery store gift cards. But the thing to do is definitely stay connected and share that information when you get it. Jeff, I don't know if you saw when you were speaking the number that you gave out. I did flash that up there. And the MMA meeting, I put the information in the webinar ID up there. But people, I'm sure, will look for that other for those two meetings. And I couldn't agree with you more. I participated in Senator McGovern's town hall a couple of weeks back. It really is good to participate and ask those questions, especially about the stimulus packet at the federal level. You know, what the plan is to get that down to people, so it's not, you know, a dollar late, a dollar short and a dollar late. So again, good points. Anyone else?
I just want to add one last thing. I did do some senior shopping yesterday, or the day before yesterday, and I noticed a sad what do I want to say? Lack of masks. And it is recommended that if you go out, you should have a mask, whether you're in a safe environment or not, you know, especially if you're not, but it's for other people's protection, not necessarily for your own, because you don't know if you're a carrier or not. So I make a practice of wearing a mask, and I just would like to see more people, if they can, even make a homemade one, take that extra precaution, especially according to Charlie Baker said that the 10th to the 20th would be a surge in cases. So, you know, they're not exactly sure of the timing, but right around that time. So take every precaution.
Thanks, Terry. We received some live chat on YouTube that we had we have a correction to the number, so I've got it up on the screen now. And Amanda Murray has also chimed in and said, yes, please give money as well, in addition to all those items that my colleagues had mentioned. So again, the correction on that number is 978-894-2780. If you're watching the replay on this, hit pause, write it down. Okay. Thank you, anyone. Thank you, everybody, for that. I think it's a good thing that we provide a lot of feedback and our thoughts. I, like you, for the rest of the board and the rest of the people that are watching right now, I think about our community a lot and the range of different people and the different needs that we have. The other night, I was talking with Chief Dickey, even just about something so that we might not think about, is how we can help people who have birthdays or otherwise, or if they were going on trips, just to think of people. I see a lot of social media people reading stories to each other using Zoom, driving through a neighborhood safely at a safe speed to wish somebody a happy birthday. So we're coming up with some ideas as well. Okay, if there were anything else on COVID-19, we're going to move to old business. I don't think we have any in for this evening. If there were any other board or staff member comments for this evening.
Well, you mentioned birthdays and the light went off. It's Easter week, Holy Week for some, and Easter's coming up. And I know that my grandkids are heartbroken because we usually have a giant Easter egg hunt. So I just want to wish everybody a happy Easter and under the circumstances. And again, just have a blessed Easter to everyone in Templeton. And I'm going to try to put an egg out. I got bears in my window that say strong together. So I'm going to try to decorate an egg there's a car ride Easter egg hunt around town just to do something special for the kids. And again, happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you too, Terry. What did you think about, it was Jeff who came up with Templeton Tough. I kind of like that.
I love it. I love it.
And might be some merchandising opportunities there, Jeff.
There you go. Put it in our mission statement.
I love it. I thought it was awesome.
One of the comments, somebody put teddy bears in their window, and one woman found 122 teddy bears, and her favorite one was, "Wash your hands, you filthy animals." Oh, we have a great community, don't we?
Yes, we do. Any other board or staff member comments this evening? Amanda Murray says online, checks can be made payable to the town of Templeton with the food pantry in the memo. Okay, hearing no more staff member or board member comments. Let's see, we've got either one or two reasons for executive session tonight. First, I'll ask Adam, do you see a necessity for a executive session this evening?
I think, Mr. Chairman, we could hold off on that, using this platform for now.
Okay. On the other possible executive item action, I will ask it for the other three board members. Do you wish to have a executive session this evening for strategy and negotiations with non-union personnel? I would say either yay or nay. I mean, I can offer it as a motion, and you can vote it down if you don't want to meet tonight on strategy negotiations. I had emailed you earlier with some notes.
I'm gonna have to pass on that one. I looked at your notes, but there was a problem with.
Yeah, well, let's not discuss the notes unless we're going to go into executive.
No,
session.
there was a problem with opening your notes.
Okay.
Opened it, but then it shut down for some reason.
Okay.
Nay.
Nay. Okay. Then we will table the need for strategy for negotiations for non-union personnel. In that case, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying aye or raise your
Aye.
electronic hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you,
very
everyone.
much, everybody.